by you and grabbing your weights, and so there's techniques and tactics of how to survive in that environment. So that's how I started to kind of carve out a little niche for myself, in a sense, in this education world. And so the stuff that I bring to the table, to me, is more common sense. I look at the science and I look at the academia and I study it, but then I try and bring a common sense point of view to it.
And you, excuse me, at this point, you spent 8 years as an executive. You trained personnel for LA Fitness?
Yeah, when I was the national director for LA Fitness for about 8 years, and what we did was I ran the personal training department. So all aspects of that, the pricing, the marketing of it, the tracking of it, the education of it, the hiring processes of it, what uniforms they would wear, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, but I come from the trench, I come from that environment,
Right.
As opposed to, I wasn't a sales guy or I wasn't a manager.
Right.
I was just a trainer,
Right.
who could close a deal.
Right.
And that's what companies like, right? Because if you're a personal trainer and you're not training something, you're basically eating up the clock. So a company wants you to be training someone, because if I'm training someone, that person's really paying my salary. So now I'm no cost to the company.
Right.
So the idea is to get trainers to work. And so there's certain, techniques and personality traits and methodology, or what there's just certain knack to that. And I had that knack. You got to be a people person. You got to like people.
And so with all that training in various clubs, you at one point decided you had enough information, enough experience, you're going to begin your own certification program for personal trainers, which I assume is actually very successful.
Yeah, it is. It didn't start like that. What it started is I was trying to recruit more people into the clubs to become trainers. And at the time, it was the beginning of personal training. Like when I started training people, that personal trainer didn't exist. We didn't use that word.
Right.
So it was at the beginning of it where people that could do that were actually working for themselves, charging people a fee inside gyms. There was no regulation. There was nobody monitoring. They just could do it. Right. So in a company like a chain, they wanted more control, so they wanted them as employees. So it was difficult to find people to work under that business model for the money that a chain could pay when they were used to getting all the money. So I decided that, well, it would be better to recruit new people that have the desire to become a trainer but haven't been getting the $40 to $50, $60 an hour. They're not used to that income. So I created a vehicle where if they came through a certification, we would hire them or potentially hire them. And I didn't teach it myself. I hired other fitness professionals at the time, exercise physiologists, registered dietitians, people like that, to come in and teach that aspect of the curriculum. What I taught was the professionalism, the ethics, the code of conduct that we expected fitness professionals to adhere to while they were inside a commercial facility. Well, after years of doing that, the curriculum would change. And, we would learn more and I would write more. And after 3, 4, 5, 6 years of listening to these professionals and at the same time educating myself more and more, going to more certs, going to college, I found that I could do the lecture myself. I didn't need an exercise physiologist to teach exercise. I could do it myself. So I started just, like you said, you learn, so, you're in your 3rd year. Well, I've been doing it 18. So what started as a little pamphlet is now a 400-page manual, and what started as just a live workshop became videos and an exam, and then a national accreditation came in, and we got that. So it just evolved over a certain period of time.
What's the name of your organization?
It's called the National Council for Certified Personal Trainers. And we're at nccpt.com.
And do you go all over the country?
Used to do that. I used to do about 30 weekend workshops all over the country a year. when the internet came in, as the internet became more popular and delivery systems, streaming video and all that kind of stuff became more efficient, workshops started to become less and less popular with the young people.
Oh, I see.
Also, in the late 90s, my average age of a pupil or a student was 35 years old. I literally had dentists. I had a surgeon from Cedars-Sinai go, you know what? I'm going to quit. I'm going to become a trainer. The income potential for an independent trainer inside a facility was really good. As we approached the 2000, 2003, 2005, all that stuff started to go away and it became employee-based, and the personal training income or revenue became the second largest revenue source for a gym after their memberships. So they started going, whoa, we want control of that. So now you became an employee. You became an employee. So that 35-year-old, now I see it's 23, 24-year-old coming in, right? Because the income potential is less. The hours are a little bit different. And so it changed. So now this demographic of the early 20s, they don't read as much. They like to watch. So it became more video-based, streaming-based. In fact, when I would teach a workshop, they'd show up with the manual and no one read it. Sometimes it wouldn't even show up the manual. I go, you didn't bring your book? They go, no, I didn't know I had to. Wow. Okay, so you can fight it or you just deal with it. So we went, and so everything now everything's HTML. We deliver the manual, we deliver the videos, we deliver the quizzes, we deliver the study guide. Everything goes through the internet, and it just became more popular. So we still have workshops. They're not as popular as they used to be, and they're a little bit more expensive, right? Because now you have live people, you have flights, hotels, but we still offer them. But it's mostly internet now. Education, online education, they say, I was watching Bloomberg TV, they say within 10 years, most of the colleges are going to disappear. It's going to be mostly online.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
Me too.
Because there's nothing better than sitting in the classroom with a teacher. I mean, you can watch it on the internet, that's all fantastic, it's great, I have no problem with that. But you have interaction with the teacher and with the other students, and I just can't see it all going online. I'm sure it's a big moneymaker online, but as far as the education, I think you really need to be in class. And also, if I can say this, it seems to me that if I want to study wellness, like athletics, you have to be in the room with the teacher, so the teacher can say, no, you're not quite standing right. You can't do that with an instructional video, but you can pay attention to the student and say, no, listen, I want you to stand up a little straighter. I want you,
Absolutely.
And just that little lovely touch of the teacher, and it made the whole thing worthwhile because you were doing it wrong for 6 months, and now you're doing it right.
I agree. I've mentored with 3 different physical therapists where I went on my own. And I went and I would learn from them, and I spent my time doing that. The problem is, for example, I just finished a dual master's degree. It was $60,000.
Right.
Okay, so problem is for a personal trainer is average income is not great. So for them to go to a 4-year degree to come out and make $26,000 a year, it's difficult to do that, to require that to someone to go, I'm going to put you in debt $80,000, $100,000, which you'll never get out of. You'll never get out of. So it's a quandrum. It's like, okay, yeah, we want them to be better, but then at the same time, we're not paying them enough.
Right.
It's like when I listen to this healthcare thing, and everybody's talking about, okay, should the insurance, who should pay? Everybody should have insurance, but there's 2 other things that we're missing. First of all, like I got hip surgeries, and they charged me $500 for 2 pieces of foam and a Velcro that Velcroed my legs together. I mean, literally, it probably cost them $25. So now we're going to argue who's supposed to pay for it, the insurance company. That's a ridiculous argument. The argument is you're charging $500 for a 25-piece of foam. So it doesn't matter who's going to pay for it. If you're going to just charge ridiculous. It'd be like spending $150 for this bottle of water.
Right.
Okay, doesn't matter who we require to pay for it, but unless you're going to